HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is bringing back a familiar but stupid talking point about mass shootings. Video games. That's right. He is blaming video games because, of course. On Tuesday, amid calls for his resignation because he is an idiot, he is unfit for the job, swimming in sewage, being pretty much a giant meat puppet controlled by a worm or a dead worm. In this case, Kennedy and his oh so wrongly named Make America Healthy Again Commission, that same commission which promoted drinking raw milk that has sickened many, many people so far, they decided to hold an hour-long event, okay, to discuss the committee's report on children's health. Oh no. Now, during this proceeding, Kennedy started talking about the issue of mass shootings, and it was a predictable disaster. Let's take a look.
Switzerland has a comparable number of guns as we do, and the last mass shooting they had was 23 years ago. We're having mass shootings every 23 hours. Oh, there are many, many things that happened in the 1990s that could explain these. One is the dependence on psychiatric drugs, which is, in our country, is unlike any other country in the world. It could be, there could be connections with video games, with social media, there are a number of things, and we are looking at that at NIH. So we are doing studies now. We're initiating studies to look at the correlation and the connection, potential connection between over-medicating our kids and this violence, and these other possible co-founders as well.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Kennedy is like, we're going to come for your video games and your antidepressants. I don't know about you, but that kind of sounds like a recipe for even more pissed off people and mass shootings. I'm just saying, right? I mean, seriously, though, this is more bullshit peddled by idiot politicians and anti-video game activists, right? To try to blame gun violence on everything except for the easy access to guns. I mean, that right there, that's the only thing that's really different here in the United States versus all these other countries, including Switzerland, right? Look, experts have already looked into the possible connection between video games and violence, and you know what they found? No correlation. That's it. No correlation between video games and mass shootings. and look, not only that, but there was a 2019 study in the American Psychological Association. Okay, this was psychology professor Patrick Markey who wrote this. Okay, he basically studied this and was like, look, the attempt to try to tie video games to mass shootings is nothing more than a red herring meant to distract people from all the other potential causes of mass shootings. Okay, Markey also found something interesting in that study. So they found that when the perpetrator of a mass shooting is white, which tends to be the case in the vast majority of mass shootings, people tend to blame video games as a potential cause. Huh, weird. But when it's a black person, then that's usually blamed on, where are the parents? Where are the families? And, well, obviously their skull shapes are different, and so they're inherently criminal. What? What? Again, the people who perpetuate the most mass shootings in America tend to be young white males. And those young white males often grow up in two-parent households with a mother and a father and still go on to commit a mass shooting. So that's not it. That's not it. Where are the families? Generally, that's where these mass shooters get their guns, from members of their family. So it's not the video games, it's not the antidepressants, it's not the lack of family structure. Well, then what could it be? The guns? Well, no, according to RFK Jr., that can't be, because Switzerland's got guns. They have many guns, many, many guns. Well, that is true. They do have guns. Look, Switzerland has a gun ownership rate on par with the United States. About 3 in 10 citizens, okay, have guns. Aha, you say. Oh, well, Switzerland, they've got a much lower rate of gun-related crime. And so it can't be the guns, right? Hold on here. Hold on here. According to a study published by Science Direct in August of 2024, researchers found that there were actually many different factors to explain gun violence. Okay? Now, they have a lot of guns, as I mentioned, in Switzerland, just like we have a lot of guns here, but they don't have a lot of gun crime. And it's because they have significantly more strict barriers to gun ownership than we do in the United States. For example, only ex-military personnel in Switzerland are allowed to keep their weapons in the house with them. Okay? Not only that, but weapons along with essential weapon components, ammunition, and ammunition components must be, mandated by law, kept in a safe place, protected from access by unauthorized third persons. We don't do that here in the United States. That's why you have so many stories of, kids getting their hands on their parents' gun because, they left it in the bathroom or something. And of course, this happened at schools as well, where the security guard leaves it in the bathroom and ends up shooting a teacher or themselves on accident. And that's what happens. Okay. So look, not only that, but in order to purchase most weapons, not all weapons, but most weapons in Switzerland, purchaser must obtain a weapon acquisition permit, unless the weapon is, for example, a single shot or multi-barrel hunting rifle, or a replica of a single shot muzzleloader. Basically a musket. Okay. And look, there are modern muzzle loaders. I have one. So yeah, not necessarily a musket, but still takes a long time to reload. But anyway, they have more strict laws. But that's not the only difference here. Switzerland also has a different gun culture than we do in the United States. Their gun culture is more focused on safety and recreational shooting. They love their guns in Switzerland, but the focus is on, let's go out as a family and safely shoot targets or safely go out and hunt. Our gun culture is much different. We have a lot of violence in our gun culture, okay? The main argument that I hear for the Second Amendment, which I do believe in here in the United States, but the main argument here is, well, we need the guns for self-defense and to take down a tyrannical government. Well, we have a tyrannical government. Those same people, not exactly rushing out to water the tree of liberty. I'm just saying, all right? And again, the whole self-defense thing is, well, I'm afraid of them black people coming and robbing my house. Or I'm afraid that these Mexicans are going to break into my house, steal my job, rape my wife. It's all violence. It's all about death, destruction, or preventing said death and destruction at the hands of what usually, a lot of these people attribute to illegals or criminal blacks. Okay. And let's be honest about there is a lot of racism in our gun culture as well, which is why Ronald Reagan very famously passed gun control in California because the Black Panthers were exercising their Second Amendment rights by open carrying rifles. All right. And that's the reality here. So now there's another difference between here and, Switzerland, right? Believe it or not, they also seem to have access to the same kind of psychiatric medicine, video game, and social media as we do, right? But the difference here is they've got universal health care. Now, it's not socialized medicine, no, but it is a mix of public and private insurance. See, the difference, though, is that, yes, we have a similar system, right? But theirs is universal, which means everyone is required to have it. And if you're low income, your insurance happens to be subsidized by the government. So they have essentially what Obamacare was supposed to be. Now, there are issues with that, of course. They do pay a lot in premiums. Okay, they have some of the highest healthcare costs in Europe and in the world. But at least they do get high quality healthcare in return, which we do not. Okay, they also do have long wait times for certain specialized procedures, though for everyone else, it's pretty good accesses. All right. Again, you compare that to here, where we have a mixed system that is not universal. It's very expensive, mainly focused on private healthcare. And so, look, it's expensive, but we do not get good healthcare. We have very poor health results compared to everyone else, and mixed with very long wait times. So now, when it comes to mental health care, they're probably doing a lot better of a job than we are here in the United States. Okay. And so, yes, there is an issue with mental health care as well. But look, overall, the point is RFK Jr. has no idea what he's talking about. He is once again dredging up nonsense excuses for what I believe to be a cultural problem in the United States with our guns. Okay, a cultural problem, and of course, easy access to weaponry. You also have gun laws that are not uniform. We have that violent gun culture promoted by the NRA and pro-gun groups. Again, combined with that very easy access with regulations that just are all over the place, very state to state. Now, the fact that many right-wing gun supporters turn to Switzerland to make an argument shows you that they don't actually understand anything about that nation or its laws. You can have high gun ownership rates and regulations at the same time. Crazy. I know. But instead of looking towards reforming, changing that gun culture, and enacting what is common sense gun regulations, these idiots would rather blame video games, SSRIs, or whatever else under the sun for a problem that they really, at the end of the day, do not want to solve. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.